Well, hello, park runners right around the country. Thanks for joining us for this lunchtime question and answer session. Great to have you with us. If you're dialing in and watching live, special shout out to wherever you are. I can see there's a few joining us straight away, so great to have you on board. Give us a wave, tell us where you're tuning in from if you're watching live here today. If you're watching on the replay, great to have you also here on board as well. And please, you're going to enjoy the next 20 or 30 minutes or so as we go through a very special question and answer session, an Anzac Day themed Parkrun Australia question and answer session coming up. So great to see Lindy, Chiaka, Lyndon, Sally, Hep, and my training plate. Sorry. So great to see you all out there. There's Gavin, Sam Hardy's joining us as well. So they're all streaming in. It's just like a park run. 5 minutes before the start, they all stream in. So great to have you here on board. I hope you're all coping okay in these interesting and very different times. And I know we're all without our weekly fix of parkrun at the moment. So I hope you're coping well. Sending lots of love and warm wishes right around the country to you all, and hope you're staying safe and doing the right thing. I'm here at my home in Newcastle, and I should introduce myself. My name's Dave Robbo. Please feel free to direct any personal feedback or personal grooming tips to my own Instagram account at Mr. Dave Robbo. But great to have this opportunity, as I said, on behalf of Parkrun Australia to have a chat today. And I'm excited to bring you this very special question and answer session today. While we get set up, please make yourselves at home. We're welcoming more people here. There's Ranger San giving us a wave. They're all joining us. There's Jake Redette is here giving us a wave. So great to have you all joining us, and we might get things underway. As I said, please let us know what's your home park run, where you're watching from. You can jump onto the comments there. We will have a few questions that you can ask towards the end of the session today as well. So get those ready to ask. We've got Scotty Trickett from Parkrun Australia helping me out here today as well. So thanks to Scotty. But we might get things underway. And this is our first, the first question and answer from Parkrun Australia for this week. I know Mel did a wonderful effort last week, so it's great to be able to carry the baton forward with our next one. Salty Alba from Mackay and Coomera from Mads. Great to see you up the Queenslanders. Redcliffe, they're all joining us from from Queensland. Great to see you there. We might get things underway, and I might introduce today's guest because I know you're sick of hearing me rambling on. So as you know, folks, this coming Saturday is Anzac Day. And we'll be marking a very different Anzac Day this year in light of this occasion. We wanted to have a chat to a parkrunner for whom April 25 holds extra significance. And so I'm delighted to, in a moment, introduce Rachel Carrigan. She's a veteran of the Royal Australian Air Force. She's an engagement specialist at Veteran Sports Australia. She's an Invictus Games competitor and a proud parkrunner. And I'm going to bring Rachel into play here very, very shortly. So here's Rachel. We're going to add her. Timo Berg from Early Beach Parkrun. G'day, Timothy. Warrnambool, Victoria, Socceroo fan. So we'll just see if we can connect Rach here. G'day, Rach. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Going well, thank you. Good to
That's
see you.
That's good.
All set up. You can hear me. You can see me. Sorry about you having to put up with seeing me.
How are you going to put up with seeing me too? So it's all good.
How's things at your end?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. The house is really clean.
Nice. I found my cleanest room in the house as well at the moment. That's right. Lots of those jobs that we haven't been doing for many months, I'm sure.
Definitely. Yeah, my garden's looking great, and it's funny how easy it is to procrastinate when you actually are at home as well.
Exactly. Hey, thanks heaps for joining us today. And it's great to get you on and to be able to have a bit of a chat. As I mentioned a moment ago, we are heading into Anzac Day this weekend, and I wanted to talk to yourself, someone, as I said, who Anzac Day means something extra special compared to the average civilian, let's say. But just to set the scene, you're in Newcastle, I'm in Newcastle, so if nothing else, we can just chat about how great Newcastle is.
Why not? It's a great place to live.
Very, very good. Hey, I will get onto your story around your military service in a moment, Rachel, but I just wanted to quickly kick off with your parkrun story. How did it start? Where did it start? Tell us a little bit about those early days of parkrun for yourself.
Okay, well, it was I hadn't heard of Parkrun, and I was actually training with the Wheeling Diggers as part of the wheelchair basketball team for Invictus. And we were in Townsville doing a training session, and our coach thought it'd be really good for us to do parkrun in our chairs, just for a bit of fitness, have a look at a bit of time. So that's how I was introduced to parkrun. My first parkrun was in Townsville. And it sort of got me hooked, and I've been using parkrun now to sort of keep maintaining my fitness. I've done quite a few different ones. Shout out to my local parkrun at Lake Macquarie. I'm one of those people though that sometimes forget my barcode.
Yeah. Well, we might have to tattoo it on you or something.
Yeah, I'm getting one of the key rings.
Perfect. That's a good start. And I guess for yourself, for those in the know at Parkrun, when you hit a certain age, you turn from senior male or female to veteran male or female. And so you're very qualified to be a veteran woman at Parkrun. I don't need to give away your age, but that fits in nicely with your background.
It does.
Perfect. Now, Parkrun, it's obviously you're passionate about it. It's become very, very important to you. Like everyone else around Australia and around the world at the moment, we're going without our Parkrun. What are you doing currently to substitute that Parkrun fix? How are you scratching the itch?
I actually still go out and take my dog for a walk along the parkrun track.
Right.
Or just take my dog for a walk, get out into the garden. I do a little bit of sort of my own fitness and strength training at home. But the main thing I try to do is at least get some time outdoors, whether that's to take the dog for a walk or just getting out in the garden and being a little bit active that way. So, and when I can, and it's not too busy, I go down and do the parkrun.
Yeah, very nice. I think that'd be a similar story. I know for myself here at Newey and many others around the country, still wanting to get a little taste of the parkrun course every now and then, keeping our distance, which is great to hear. Let's go back to your life now as a veteran, but previously serving the Australian military force in the Royal Australian Air Force, I believe. Yep. Tell us how that all started. How did you, I guess, originate an interest to join the military?
It was actually, I was in year 12 and I'd just been given school captain or joint school captain with one of my female friends. And I was sort of getting along to Anzac Day and I was asked to sort of march as a school captain. And my grandfather, who I was very close to, came up to me the night before and asked me if I could wear his medals. And I'd never known up until that point that he'd actually even served. No one had ever mentioned it in our family. It was something we never spoke about. And we literally went to his underwear drawer and got all his medals out. They were still all on the original ribbons and things like that. And I wore them. And that sort of sparked my interest. And I was very close to my grandfather, and he passed away around Christmas time that same year. So it was that sort of spurred me on a little bit as well, because it was my way of honouring him and giving back a little bit, and I just wanted to do a little bit more. So yeah, and then I looked into the forces and have always loved planes and was becoming an engineer. So yeah, I went into the Air Force.
There you go. And so at Williamtown, you did your training here in Newcastle, or whereabouts?
I did uni and the first few years at Newcastle here at RAF Williamtown, but I was mainly based at Richmond in Sydney. Yeah.
Yep. So went on to have a career in the Air Force. And so for how long did you end up serving for?
7 years.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
And I believe, so you had some tours and were in Afghanistan at one point, I believe?
Yeah, so I was part of Operation Slipper, and I did some operational service in the Afghanistan conflict in 2002. So, yeah.
There'll be an interesting parkrun-related question to that, not to make light of a very serious situation, but Afghanistan, I believe, has a parkrun. Were you aware of that? Yeah, I believe on Allied ground in Afghanistan. I don't know if it still is happening. Someone may be able to text in. Message in, but yeah, you hadn't heard of it?
No, I honestly didn't know.
Might have been before your parkrun career kicked off. So yeah, and hard, I guess, for many people. Like I'm pretty removed from the military service myself. It's hard for many of us as civilians, as regular parkrunners, to get any sort of understanding of what your experience was like. And from reading some of your story, I know there's been some pretty tough times coming out of that service life and becoming a veteran. And how has, I guess, things like sport, wheelchair basketball, parkrun, the Invictus Games, how has that helped, I guess, your recovery to come out of that and adjust to normal life again?
It saved my life, literally. So
yep. Wow.
I was diagnosed with severe post-traumatic stress disorder and chronic depressive disorder. And I actually had a stress-induced stroke and lost all movement down the left-hand side of my body.
Yeah, wow.
And I ballooned up to 119 kilos. Now, I'm only 5 foot, so
yep.
that was quite large. And it was through Invictus and sport that I actually realised I still existed, that I could still achieve things, and gradually I've got back. So now I'm competing as powerlifting nationally as a powerlifter, and I compete as able-bodied now and not in just in the adaptive.
Yep.
And I still do wheelchair basketball, and I mean, it's got me, I couldn't leave the house. I've been homeless and all of that. So it's given me a drive. It's given me something to aim towards. It helped me get out of the house, and it's helped me find my family again. One of the big things when we leave the military is that loss of family, that loss of purpose. So I found my family again through sport. I found my purpose again through sport. I'm now working in sport. I compete in sport. It's just shown me what I can do, and it's just changed my whole life. I'm really a big advocate for it.
Yeah, 100%. You can tell there's no bigger advocacy than saving your life, and not only preserving a life, but improving your quality, which you can see just the way that you talk about it, the way you're beaming, what it has done for you. And you're one of what I estimate hundreds of thousands, almost 1 million veterans in Australia, and if we link in New Zealand as well. So you've been able to move into a role where you can then use your lived experience to help others as well, I understand.
Yeah. So part of my role in Veteran Sport Australia is actually to link in with veterans within the community and get them and their families back involved with activities within the community, with sport, looking after their health, their well-being, and just encouraging them out of isolation if that's an issue that they have through sport, and just get them back into that lifestyle, get them the confidence and the ability to move back into the community. So we link in with organisations such as yourself, and that's what we try to do, is to link veterans in with those existing organisations on sport and just help them along the way.
Wonderful. Just to quickly interject there, Dolly _Lakeview has just helped us out. Camp Bastion Parkrun, which is the one in Afghanistan I mentioned, existed from September 2011 to January 2014 after 111 runs. So there you go. Had a few year history.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
there you are. It would have been a rare few parkrunners that can say that they've ticked that one off. Let's move on now. As I said, a couple of days' time, it is Anzac Day, and it's, as we know in Australia, and as you know, and I've had a similar experience as a high school student up in Dorrigo, up on the North Coast, where I know you're from Kempsey, and we shared some strong North Coast love yesterday over the phone. It's a powerful thing, and it's a thing that we learn about in our school system. So Anzac Day is this thing, but I guess just if you can touch on why should it be important? Why is it so important? And then with this COVID-19 issue that we face now, how is the closure of things, not only Parkrun, but closure of Anzac Day ceremonies, going to affect the Ever community this year?
Yeah, okay. So obviously Anzac Day is quite personal for me due to my service, my grandfather, and I think it's such an important time to stop and reflect on our history, what we've been involved in, how we have the life that we have, and what people have sacrificed for that. So that may not necessarily mean their life, because a lot of people obviously sacrifice their life for what we have here today, but it's also those people that are still struggling, that have come back and have lost so much. It's remembering them. It's remembering the people that are still giving. There's still so many in the military, and it is such a different lifestyle. So it's just appreciating that, recognizing that, and a time to reflect on exactly what it means for our country what we have been through. So that's why it's important. It is a shame that we can't all get together like we normally do this year, and because it is a day where, you know, as a veteran, you tend to feel supported because the community is out there supporting you, because it's not every day, obviously, you get recognised for what you've done. So that, you know, as a veteran, that is something that's special. But there's just so many things you can still do, even in isolation, to be able to do that, you know. So if you know a veteran, give them a call, especially if there's someone that you know is on their own. Give them a call and say hi, thank them for the service, have a bit of a chat to them. You can update your Facebook profile with some of the Anzac frames that are going around, you know. There's a lot of virtual services that are happening online as well. If you go to the rslnewsouthwales.org.au/Anzac Spirit, there's a lot of different ways there that you can join in and be part of an Anzac service, do, you know, out in the driveway, dawn, and that sort of thing. You can donate to the Anzac Appeal at www.anzacappeal, and that money actually goes towards helping veterans in Veteran Sport Australia and RSL Defence Care. And we've got some stuff on our Facebook page as well, Veteran Sport Australia Facebook page, where Rowing Australia is doing a 2020 Anzac Day indoor rowing competition.
Yeah, wow.
Which is it's a challenge to actually commemorate Australian and New Zealand military. And the details for that are on our Facebook page. And only thing with that, you have to have access to a rower. But, you know, there's so many different ways. You can go for a walk and just reflect yourself. There's still so many ways to connect and remember that day. So it's going to be different, but it can still be special.
And maybe, as we all are doing, Rachel, maybe there's something to be said for, not being in the groups that we normally are. So maybe there is a bit more of an introspective feel at the moment. We are all reflecting on our lives so much more and what's important, and maybe it can have even a deeper significance this year. But, I really love some of those strategies that you've suggested there. I know many of our towns around Australia will have Anzac, or most will have Anzac memorials there, whether you, on Saturday morning, if you include a run and go and touch one of the Anzac memorials with your elbow, or whatever you can do. But yeah, they're great ways. And I'm aware, I think, of a virtual run that's been set up in New Zealand and Australia, and Anzac especially virtual run there as well. So whole host of things there, and we'll share some more information. I know Scotty's just put on the comments there, folks. If there's any questions that you have for Rachel, please just comment below, and we'll pluck them out and put them to her. So yeah, thanks again, Rachel Carrigan, for joining us here for the Parkrun Australia question and answer. What would you have been doing if COVID wasn't around? What would your Saturday morning, this Anzac Day, have looked like?
I would have gone to, I actually got invited to speak at a service at Morpeth, and to sort of have a bit of a chat afterwards, after the service, to be a guest at the service, and then have a chat about Anzac Day after the service. So yeah, I've got a lot of really good friends, and it's a lot of an older veteran community that goes to Morpeth, and it's really great. I was up there last year and connected with a 92-year-old Korean veteran, you know, so it's just, that's something I'm going to miss, is actually talking to a lot of the older veterans and things. So that's what my day would have looked like. And then come home and just self-reflect. And time for me to sort of spend time with my thoughts. So yeah.
My I can share a story. My great uncle, he's actually has the same name as myself. He's a David Robertson, but he's Uncle Bruce, and he turned 100 on the 23rd of March. We share a birthday, and he's
awesome.
a veteran from the Second World War in Papua New Guinea, and he is still very, very active. We haven't talked him into doing a park run yet. I'd love to get him there, but he's very active and he's very with it, and he was really excited to march for this year's Anzac Day ceremony in Sydney, where he lives. And so it's a great shame that, you know, someone like that won't be able to do that and won't be able to have that sort of public acknowledgement possibly as seen, but hopefully he still sort of feels the support, as, you know, a number of those diggers in those older ranks who they're not going to be with us forever. And it's great to be able to think of what they went through and honour them in a small way this Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's amazing. 100. That's just awesome.
That's right. Now I've got a question coming in through here. why is it important for veterans to get involved in parkrun if they are reluctant to take up exercise?
I just find that parkrun is something that you can do at your own pace. So, I mean, exercise doesn't have to be going and running. It can be just going for a walk. It doesn't have to be, you know, if you go do parkrun, you don't have to complete the whole course. It's an environment where it doesn't matter what level of fitness you're at. You can take your family. You can push yourself. You take parkrun as it is. It's free. It's so easy to get involved with. You can be part of a virtual team. We've got a VSA team that you can be part of if you register with Parkrun, so you can still be part of a team and do it individually. For me, I'm not real good with crowds still, so there are times where I can just go out and walk the track, but I can still record my time with Parkrun, even if I don't do it on the same morning. So I can still, you know, be part of the community. It's a way to be part of your community. And I think that's what's important, because for people like myself, when I isolated, you lose that connection, and having that connection again and making friends, even if it's just a hello as you go past someone on the track, you know, like, or a smile that you get from someone, or watching kids, or seeing, you know, an elderly couple holding hands while they're doing parkrun. You know, it's just, it's such a wonderful environment, and it doesn't have to be competitive, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to go there and break a sweat, you know. Everyone is just so inviting and are there so that you can experience the way you want to experience, and that's okay. So I think that's why parkrun's really good for veterans. If they're not particularly fond of exercise, you can still go for a walk. You don't have to run. So that's what I like about it, and that's why I think it suits such a wide range of people.
Yep. Someone else just asking cheekily here, as a power lifter, have you ever been tempted to do parkrun just using your hands?
Well, I do it in my chair, so that's kind of using just my
upper body.
My legs.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So I was going to ask you. So you would do your parkruns in the chair?
Yeah, I've done, like, my first parkrun was in the chair, and I've done a few since in the chair. I have actually been told that, you know, as a powerlifter, I need to also concentrate on my fitness, and I sort of argued with my coach and said, isn't that just increasing the number of reps? You know, isn't that keeping you fit? I have been using my legs, but yeah, so when I use my chair, I use a lot of my upper body and arms. Does that count?
Yep. That'll count, 100%. And you'd have, as runners, you'd have all of us covered, I'm sure, for upper body strength. So don't worry about that. Now, what can parkrunners do? I know you touched a bit on this, but what can parkrunners do this to commemorate Anzac Day this year? What are your top three or few tips that you can give them?
Top three would be probably update your Facebook profile with the Anzac frame, because, you know, that's showing your link in with a virtual service, whether that be when you're out on your driveway or something, but just link in with a service somewhere so you've got that time set aside to commemorate. And if you know a veteran out there, contact them. You know, do some FaceTime, give them a phone call, you know, maybe drop a poppy on their front door or something along those lines. So that'd be sort of my top three.
Great advice. One here, how did you find out about Parkrun, Rachel?
It was, as I said earlier, it was through Invictus. I didn't know Parkrun existed, and then all of a sudden that was part of my training that I had to do on the day. And I just, as I said, loved it. Fell in love with it right from the start. One of my favourite memories from my first Parkrun is that as we were coming to the finish line, everyone that had finished come back and was running with us. And it wasn't just us in the chair, it was everyone.
Yeah,
they were coming back and running with them and encouraging them. And I just thought, wow, what a community.
Brilliant. So we'll wrap things up because I know you've got to get on with the rest of your day. But we've covering off most of our questions there. Thanks, Scotty. So anything else you'd like to promote? I guess looking forward, anything. What would you like to see in terms of the improvement of lives of veterans, specifically using sport, but specifically using parkrun as well?
What do you mean, sort of like getting more veterans involved?
Yeah, how can we get the word out there? I know, so Veteran Sport Australia, as you say, linking hard, pushing the word out there. How else can we do it? As parkrunners, but also just as a community?
If you know someone out there that doesn't know about parkrun or a veteran or something, invite them along.
Yep.
You know, obviously for a lot of veterans, the first step is the hardest in actually getting there. So invite them to come along. You know, like there's the coffees. A lot of the groups have the coffees afterwards as well and things like that. So that's what we're going to try to do here in Newcastle, is actually promote through Parkrun, getting more veterans in by going around to all the different parkruns in the Hunter, and you know, getting people involved to bring a friend, bring a veteran, encourage the veterans to bring their family if that makes it easier, and things like that, because it is a family, can be a family outing as well. So that's my biggest advice, would just be to reach out if you know a veteran and encourage them to come along and let them try it out themselves. I'm sure they'll be hooked as well.
Yeah, awesome. No, well, that's great. And that's a great way to wrap things up here today. A comment there from Kat Bolsh. Great to hear your perspective, Rachel. Thank you so much, and thanks for your service. So I think, Kat, speaking on behalf of everyone that's tuned in today, as on the live stream, but also those watching on the replay as well. So just want to say on behalf of Parkrun Australia, Rachel, a big, big thank you for joining us today, giving us your perspective on Anzac Day and Parkrun and life as a veteran. And yeah, thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. And I look forward personally to joining you for a parkrun when all this craziness it comes to an end.
It's on. We'll definitely line that up. And thank you so much for having me on and having a chat and bringing Anzac Day to the fore again and veteran sport. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Finally, where can we follow you? We've seen your Instagram account there, but any other links or any other sites that we can promote while we've got you here?
Yeah, definitely the Veteran Sport Australia Facebook page and our Instagram account. Jump on, have a look at what we're doing, because it shows a great way that you can link in with the veteran community. And yeah, just my personal one if you're really keen.
Awesome.
To see what I'm up to.
Yeah, I reckon you'll have a few follows by the end of this chat, I'm sure. So thanks again, Rachel. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. You can keep them coming. And we look forward to our next question and answer in the series. Stay safe, everyone. Look after yourselves. Happy running. And yeah, we're thinking of all our veterans on Anzac Day this Saturday. Thanks again, Rachel.
Thank you so much. See you guys. Stay safe, everyone.